Hello, BookTube. We are continuing my library tour of the little book room here at Hyde Cottage. I thought you would like to see Frieda in the background. So, because she's watching carefully, I am too far away from her. So we're going to continue with this next shelf. We have some Transwise books, so we'll start with this trade paperback of The Murder of Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey. This is a true crime story by the prolific fiction writer John Dixon Carr about a high-ranking magistrate who was involved in something called the Popish Plot. Don't get me started on the Popish Plot. Don't get me started on the thing that brought me to America. All I will say, this is excellent. It's the best thing that John Dixon Carr ever wrote. And all I will say about it is that I plead the fifth. We don't know who killed Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey, and we never will. Then we have a trade paperback of The Most of P.G. Wodehouse. This is just one of many collections of Wodehouse in this room. I have lots of them. I like a lot of their introductions. I like the feel of a lot of them, so I just get them. The more Wodehouse I have in this room, the better I like it. We have this thing, the collected poems of Edna St. Vincent Malay. I was looking for the trade paperback of this classic white collection with the script lettering. It never occurred to me that I would find the hardcover, which I, of course, want more. So I was happy to have this. It is a... Where am I going to put these things? Is it a keeper in my poetry collection? Let's see, will you fit there? You will. And then the last Transwise book here is a hardcover of Thomas Harris's novel Hannibal, which is about Hannibal Lecter, and is really, really good. And for 9/10 of its length, it's the best thing he ever wrote. This is a Hannibal Lecter after The Silence of the Lambs, even those of you who have not read the books will know the movie. And at The Silence of the Lambs, at the end of that movie, Hannibal Lecter is free. He has escaped from custody. The world's most notorious serial killer. And he is escaping in the world. In this book, we find him, we catch up with him, and so does someone else. So does one of his victims. Are you going to behave yourself? No, you're not going to behave yourself. All right. Then we have a Reader's Digest hardcover of Moby Dick by Herman Melville. These things have... these old Reader's Digest things have original artwork all throughout them, and also a paper dossier on the book, which has just fallen onto the floor, but I'm on the bed, so I'm bouncing up and down, so I'm not going to go and get it. Then we have something called The Jungle Books by Rudyard Kipling. I've heard this is good. I'll give it a try. This also has original illustrations. Let's see if we can find one. This is great, and young Denson at Robin Song Reads and I just did a 2-part discussion of this book. Oh wow, the Reader's Digest Jungle Books is not illustrated. Okay, we just did a 2-part discussion of the Jungle Books and a whole bunch of other things. Part 1 was on my channel, and then Part 2 is going to go up on his channel sometime. I don't know when that will be, but it was a lot of fun. Reminded me how much I like talking to the few booktubers who can stand me. That's always great. Then we have a Star Trek novel. This is a hardcover of Vonda McIntyre's Enterprise, the first adventure. This was one of the big Star Trek novels for that the publisher did for a while. They did Star Trek novels that were twice as big as normal. They were really popular. There were only a few of them. This will be perfect for a reread for a Book Trek, which is a BookTube event going on all summer, reading Star Trek stuff. Of course, this is a novel, so it's not canon. Much as we'd like it to be, the novels aren't canon. What's on the screen, big or little, is canon. So, I mean, that has pluses and minuses, right? The plus is that we get, on the little screen, we get Jonathan Archer's Enterprise, which was the previous model, the one before the Constitution class. And the minus is that we get Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Kurtzman Trek, which tells us that Jim Kirk was a thoroughly unlikable prig, that he was longtime best friends with, that his brother, Samuel Kirk, was longtime best friends with Mr. Spock, that Spock was an old friend of the family before Kirk met him. And so on and so on and so on and so on. So that, and also a different Pike, a completely different Christopher Pike. But still, the novel, Vonda McIntyre is really good to read Star Trek. Then we have a work of history. This is a Pimlico trade paperback of Pierce Brendan's Eminent Edwardians, a callback to Eminent Victorians. This is just the next generation. Some of the doers and shakers in King Edward's England. A lovely book. We have Stephen Jay Gould. This is Dinosaur and the Haystack. This is a collection of columns that he wrote for Natural History magazine. They range all over the area of natural history or evolutionary science or baseball or TV or movies or whatever was on his mind. He wrote a column, and any of you who have ever written a column, it really can be unpredictable, especially if your editors are nice enough to let you write what you want. And by the year 2, he was so popular at Natural History magazine that, like a lot of people, I subscribed to the magazine just for his column. When you know that, when your viewers or when your readers are telling you that, your columnist can write about whatever he wants. Now, sometimes that can cause disaster, as in Mike Royko's case, but sometimes not. And so the whole Gould had like a dozen volumes collecting the columns that he wrote over years and years and years, and they're all wonderful to read. Okay, then we have this doesn't really belong here. This is Gil Hyatt. This is his book, The Clerk of Oxenford. This is a collection of literary reminiscences and literary essays and deadline prose and whatnot. I have a whole bookcase for that is not in this room. So, I mean, I love the book, but does it belong in here? Same thing with this one. This is Alexander Cockburn. This is Corruptions of Empire. This is also occasional prose, and there is quite a bit here that's literary, but it's mainly excoriating social and political prose about the 80s. Just an absolutely indispensable volume for reading about what smart people were thinking and saying in the 80s. Okay, then we have When Passion Rules by Joanna Lindsay with a Paul Marin Tushy. I would recognize that Tushy anywhere. I don't need to see his face to recognize it. I actually wrote a whole review of this book. It's charming. It's a Ruritanian novel, what used to be called a Ruritanian novel. Okay, then we have William Baring Gould. This is Sherlock Holmes of Baker Street. This is a fictional reconstruction, a fictional biography of everything that we can know about Sherlock Holmes and all of his adventures and the people in them. Just delightful for a Holmes fan, really essential for a Holmes fan. Let's move you over there. Okay, then we have a work of history. This is C.B. Wedgwood. This is A Coffin for King Charles. This is the capstone volume to a trilogy of works that she did about the reign of King Charles and then the Civil War and then King Charles's capture, imprisonment, trial, and execution. And this is the final volume about just that. So where we get deep into the trial records and whatnot. Fascinating reading. Infuriating, but fascinating. All right. Then we have a trade paperback of Alexander Pope's translation of the Odyssey. This does not belong here. That bookcase right over my shoulder is all classics of... oh, no, that one's not. Where is it? Well, one of them is anyway. There is a bookcase. I think it's this one here. One of the bookcases in this room is the classics of Greece and Rome. This should be on that bookcase. And if that bookcase gets overcrowded, well, get a bigger bookcase. But don't put them elsewhere. Instead, it's just wandering on its own, like the Golden Ass was in the last shelf tour. Then we have Modern Library, this wonderful Modern Library trade paperback of Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. I just love the cover design here. So whenever I see this, I grab it. These Modern Libraries, they did some wonderful volumes for Dickens. Hasn't really helped me with Dickens, but it's still nice to have them. Then we have a Modern Library of The Way We Live Now. Different introduction, I think, different notes. Yeah, different notes than the Oxford or the Penguin, and it's a Trollope novel that I absolutely love. We have Justin Marazzi's book, The Way of Heroditus, where he sort of puts feet on the ground for some of the places that Herodotus talks about or writes about. Maybe on the assumption that Herodotus actually went there, and maybe not. But really good, really interesting about one of my favorite writers. Okay, well, all right, you are one of my favorite writers. This is Frederick Podle. He did a whole series of books on James Boswell. And this is his book, Boswell, The Ominous Years. I love all these books. I think they're great. They're granular. So you really have to be interested, not in Boswell's Life of Johnson and not in Samuel Johnson. You really have to be interested in Boswell himself. But if you are, these volumes are so good. They're so enjoyable. We have a UK hardcover of Adam Sisman's book, Boswell's Presumptuous Task. This is mainly about the idea of pulling together all the information, all the details, and writing a life of Johnson. When Johnson wasn't 100% on board with that idea, and a whole bunch of other people in Boswell's circle and out of it were also jockeying to be the one who would write the big breakout book of Johnson when he died. This is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. One of the best books on that subject. And then finally we have Van Wyck Brooks. This is, I think, the third time we've seen the same book in this room. I don't know where the others are, but this is The World of Washington Irving. Again. So, I love this book. I think it's terrific. A terrific evocation of Washington Irving. Also, a really, really good, Van Wyck Brooks is really good at bringing forward, describing, bringing to life the secondary literary people, the people who did not survive, but who were talked about and sold books and pamphlets at the time, both in England and in the U.S. And I love this book for that and for everything else that it does, but I don't love it enough to have 3 copies, much less 3 copies in Little Book Room, which is starved for space. So I will have to address that. Here, let's put Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey back where he belongs, roasting in hell, and P.G. Wodehouse. All right, well, that is the next shelf. I guess you all want this to continue. I don't know what I'm going to do for the shelf after this. I would have to be ducking out of camera range, but I'll figure out something. We'll figure out some kind of filming arrangement. So I'll wrap this up, and I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.